This is the plaintiff, Billy Cummings. She says she bought a puppy from the defendant, and the poor thing got sick immediately and had to be euthanized because it was in such bad shape. The mean defendant refuses to refund her money, even though the dog was obviously sick when she bought it and died only 6 days later. The defendant's shop has numerous complaints online for selling sick puppies, and she's here suing for $5,000 to cover the purchase price, vet bills, plus pain and suffering. This is the defendant, Ben Gill. He says the vet reports the puppy was happy-go-lucky for 5 days, and on the 6th day, the plaintiff gave it a bath, and then it got sick. The vet states the lungs became infected, and he thinks the puppy may have inhaled some chemicals used in the bath, and that's what got it sick. Unfortunately, there's no evidence to suggest the puppy was ill at the time of sale, and he's sorry, but no refunds. He's accused of dodging a dog buyer.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Billy Cummings.
Good morning.
You are suing Pet Resources, represented here by Ben Gill. You're the manager?
Yes, I am.
Okay. For $5,000, the statutory maximum, because according to you, they sold you a dog that came with problems. Tell me what happened.
That's correct. Your Honor, on February 6, 2015, I purchased a miniature schnauzer for my 2 children because we lost an aunt and 2 grandmothers and an aunt, so I bought the dog as a resource. However,
Meaning they were sad and...
They were sad,
Okay.
They were crying, they were really close to their family members, so this was an outlet for them. However, the dog was born November 30th, and we brought the dog home. He was fine.
When did you bring the dog home?
February 6th was the purchase of the dog, 2015. The dog didn't bark. We didn't hear the dog bark at all. He ate fine. He was playful. He even learned how to urinate on. He was trained perfectly, but the only thing was
Urinate on.
Urinate on the.
That was pad.
Yes,
Right? Okay.
yes. I'm sorry. He was trained to urinate on the wee-wee pads, and this was like on the 3rd day. He was perfect. 4th day came around. He was fine, but we still didn't hear any barking. But I figured he was a puppy. He was fine. However, on February 13th. My son found our dog, vomiting, eyes rolling in the back of his head. He was dying. He could not breathe. And we rushed him to the animal hospital in Manhattan. When I rushed him over, they came out immediately and they put him in the oxygen tank. Dr. Birkland informed us because of the severity of his illness that he would not be able to survive even if we took him home. Even if we kept him in the hospital, there's no way that he would survive because he was just so sick. We got the medical report. I mean, we had to euthanize my dog. This is my son, Anthony. And it was very hurtful. It was very sad. And when we got home, I began to think. And in the morning, I called Ben, and I informed him of what happened. And I called the medical center so he can also have a copy of the medical report stating what happened to the dog.
And what did happen to the dog?
They said dyspepsia and these type of...
They said what?
Dyspepsia.
Which means?
Which means that the dog, there was a problem with his throat, but I have the medical report stating several things that was wrong with the dog, and they said that these dogs usually are sickly dogs, which I wasn't informed of.
What dogs are sickly dogs?
He was a miniature
Schnauzers?
schnauzer. Yes, this is what was I informed, and I have the medical report right here for you.
Okay, let me see your medical report. At some point, you speak to Mr. Gill,
Yes.
and what does he say to you?
He said he cannot refund the dog, and he was very sorry.
And did he say why?
His answer was because the dog seemed like he was fine when he left the store. He wasn't sick or anything. But there is a contract within 10 days. I can get a refund. The dog died on the 6th day.
Right. Under what circumstances? Do you know? And I think it's 14, not 10,
Yeah, it's 14
right?
days.
Right. But under what circumstances? Have you had a chance to look at the law? Or?
Yes, the law.
Yeah, the circumstances are that you have to be able to show that it was unfit for sale at the time of purchase. Did your vet say anything about that?
No. He was fine. He had all of his shots. He was up to date.
No, but I mean unfit because of something that's going on that you may not know about. I mean, you're not, there's no guarantee how long a dog will last. Yeah. You're saying the dog was sold sick.
Yes.
So is the vet saying the dog was sold sick?
Yes.
I need to see that. Where does the vet say that? Because I've looked at every document and I don't see that. So tell me what happens. She calls you and she tells you about this, and what do you say or do?
She actually shows up in the morning before we open, and she's crying, clearly upset.
Right.
I opened the door and I let her in and asked her what happened, what's going on. She told me that the dog was rushed to the hospital at the AMC and subsequently needed to be put down. At that point, she asked me, well, what's going on? Because, you know, my guarantee and so forth. I said, well, one of the things that we have to wait on is the medical report to find out what has happened to the dog. Once the medical report came back in, I called her. Yeah, I called her and I told her, well, based on what I saw on the medical report, at no point does it say that this animal was one sick at the time of sale, and it clearly, and most of the stuff that's on there is saying that this animal was otherwise healthy. It was a normal weight. It was basically, there was nothing there that said that this animal showed any symptoms that clearly stated that he was sick or would have been sick for a while, because he had been home for several days. The medical report also says that that the puppy was home for 5 days, was happy-go-lucky, and they gave the puppy a bath, and within 24 hours after said bath, that's when he needed to be rushed to the hospital.
Who gave the dog a bath?
We put the dog in the sink. We did not give the dog a full bath. I didn't even use soap.
That's what your vet says in your vet report. He's not making it up.
Yes.
It's in the vet report. It says the dog was great. They gave the dog a bath yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, you put the dog in the sink.
Yes.
Who gave the dog a bath?
That was the bath. The bath was actually in the sink. We did not place the dog.
Who gave the dog a bath in the sink?
I did.
Okay. How did you give the dog a bath?
I just rinsed the back of his, with the cup. Actually, I didn't even run water on him. I just rinsed the back of his bottom because he did poop. And it was like stuck on his hair, but I did not give him a full bath. I didn't wet his full.
You know that what you told the vet was, I gave the dog a bath, and then, I mean, there's none of this, you know. Did the vet tell you that the dog had water in its lungs?
Yes. He said, no. He said it was crackles in his lungs. She did not mention water.
Did you say that the vet told, did you ever talk to the vet?
Yeah, I spoke to the vet. It wasn't the vet that worked on the animal, because after one at a time speaking to Billy, she says, well, I believe this dog was sick in the last 24 hours, and
Who said that?
Billy said that.
Okay.
She said that, I believe this dog was sick in the last 24 hours and so forth. That's a
Wait, I don't understand what you just said. Billy said that to who?
To me.
I believe this dog was sick in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, that he was home, that whatever, he didn't show any symptoms before in the last 24 hours.
Right, but you understand that you could have a congenital defect,
Yes,
or it could be
do.
unfit for sale, and the symptom not come out for 5 days.
Yes,
Right,
yeah,
okay.
I do. So when she told me that, I said, well, one of the things that I am going to do is contact the hospital and ask them what they believe went on, because it's a great concern for me that if there is something in the store that puts puppies at risk and they're passing away within 24 hours without any symptoms, it's a great concern for us. So I contacted the vet and I asked them, and I apologize for not remembering the vet's name, but I said, well, what do you believe that occurred? Vet was very short with me and said, well, everything that we have, you have in the medical report. I said, well, am I concerned about something that's viral? But he says, anything that we have is in that medical report. We don't have any additional information. There's not going to be any autopsy or anything like that. And I was like, all right, thank you very much.
You take the dog to the vet, and according to the vet report, it says shortness of breath, bronchitis, elevated potassium, and he or she, who was the vet, was a he or she? She recommends that you hospitalize the dog in order to find out what's wrong with the dog.
Yes.
Right. And that the hospitalization would be about $4,000 or $5,000
A day.
A day.
Yes, because he was very sick, and even the doctor.
And which is.
Dr. Berkman.
Yeah, and that you don't know whether even that would help. So
Exactly.
that's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's, at some point there is a figure where if you have children you got to worry about, where you got to kind of assess what to do.
Yes.
But here's what's not here, and I think I'm going to take a recess and try to see if I can reach out to this vet myself and try to see if there's anything additional. Maybe they won't be curt with me, or maybe they will. will. I often find them curt with me. Sometimes bad things happen, you know, to people, to animals, to all of us. Life is, we're all hanging on a thread, which is why we have to rethink the way we go through this journey and enjoy every single day, because, you know, all of the yelling we do as parents and all of the list making we do as, you know, trying to get to that, accomplish, and then the next thing you know. So bad things happen, as unfortunately your family has learned a little too much in the last few months. But you can only collect in court for them if you can prove that it is as a result of something that they did. Which means, in the eyes of the law in this field, you have to be able to show through the vet that the vet has to make a declaration with the following magic words: the animal was unfit for purchase at the time of the sale. And not that just something bad happened to the dog in 5 days, which could happen, you know. It's a living, breathing thing. Or that the dog had a congenital defect, a defect it's born with. Yes. The fact that some breeds are more weak than other breeds is not something people have to tell you. It's something you should research. Your vet says 0 that it has to say for you to collect. I feel very bad for your circumstances. I'm going to take a recess. I'm going to reach out to the vet because I want to make sure that I do the right thing here.
All rise.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, can a dog get sick from getting water in its lungs during a bath? What do you think?
In my opinion, no.
Why?
Because a dog would actually have to breathe in and have the water go down into its lungs. If you're just spraying a dog, he's not going to be breathing.
Wow, you sound like a doctor. Wow.
I have 2 Goldens who swim in the on the East Coast on the bay, and they don't inhale the water.
You know the difference is like rap, East Coast, West Coast water.
Well,
You know, going inside the courtroom.
Essentially, I think they were trying to just do exactly what you said they would do, which is resend the medical records. You have a copy of the medical records. You have a copy of the medical records. I have a copy of each of your medical records. I do not need them to resend the medical records. So like I said, sometimes bad things happen. But for him to have to pay for the bad thing, $5,000, his company to have to pay the $5,000 that you're asking for, you have to prove it's their fault. According to your own doctor, the doctor can't, without further testing, tell you what it was that happened. It's not that the vet's not cooperating, it's that the vet doesn't have it to say. Because vets know the law. And if they had found clearly that it was unfit for purchase or congenital defect, they would have put it in here.
Yes.
So, you know, so then why should I make them pay you $5,000? Because of the sadness that a pet died? That's not a reason. It has to be their fault. Given that there's no proof, my verdict in this case then is for the defendants. And let me make a suggestion, because I know that this has been a financial drain on you folks. There are so many puppies looking for love in shelters, and that might be a really wonderful option for both the puppy and your child or children, right? Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Well, unable to prove her case, the plaintiff's out here on the losing end of the judge's decision. How do you feel about losing the dog so fast?
I feel like it was like way too fast.
Did you have time to fall in love with the dog?
Yeah, I had time to fall in love, but not like enough time.
Not enough time, yeah. Well, what about going to the shelter? And
We are definitely going to the ASPCA. We have a spot in Jersey, and we're definitely
Good luck with everything. Good luck with your next one.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right, so step on out here and tell me what you think of this outcome here.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to be vindicated and that it wasn't the case of bad pet shop. Very often, pet shops get that name tossed at them. We did everything that we were supposed to include in contacting the vet themselves to try to help Miss Cummings.
All right, let's go to the street. Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, real quickly, you have to read these limitations that they give you when you buy an animal at a pet store, although you should adopt. But if you buy at a pet store, these limitations are really tricky, and you should know what you're getting into, and it will vary from state to state on what they're required to do. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.